All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we are talking Los Angeles Chargers starting offensive tackle, new starter, Jamaree Salyer. He stepped up in a big way for the Chargers in their victory over the Raiders. We'll break down everything he did so well and why he should be a key part of this Chargers offensive line at that tackle position going forward as the Chargers look to make a playoff push. He had a really nice day. As always, in the comment section below, give us any feedback you might have. If you're a fan of these film reviews and want to help support us so we can do more of them, consider becoming a member of our channel. There's a link in the description box below that will take you right there. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, let's get started with some pass protection. There's Salyer right there on the right side of your screen, and there is Max Crosby. Really good, really good defensive end, of course, opposite him. The pass protection concept is a pretty simple one. The play side is going to be these three guys over here, and they're all going to take the gap to the right. Right tackle taking this gap, right guard taking this gap, and the center taking this gap, which means it's man-on-man on the backside. Man-on-man right here, and man-on-man Salyer right here on Crosby, who tries to beat him with the speed rush, and Salyer's more than capable of handling it. Gives Herbert the time he needs to escape and throw a touchdown pass. Let's check it out. There's a snap. He's got time. Gets out the pocket. Scrambles. Throws it to McConkey. Touchdown. Chargers go up 2 scores. Go on to win, obviously, 31-14. All right, let's look at Salyer here. One-on-one on Crosby. Runs him upfield. Runs him upfield. Nicely done. Now, from a technical perspective, Salyer obviously is not a tackle in terms of the standard NFL tackle, right? He's kind of, he doesn't have the crazy long arms. He's not the tallest guy in the world. A lot of tackles, right, like Joe Alt, like Slater, they look different. You can see here from a technical perspective, Salyer doesn't really get much of a punch. He kind of just puts his hands on the back of Crosby and runs him upfield. But one of the things I love about this young tackle, at least a tackle now in my book, is his footwork. Look how he moves his feet. Methodical, deliberate. Does he lose his base a little bit at the end? Yeah, but I think he plays with good foot speed. I think he tries to keep a good base. He plays with good technique, keeps his pads down, doesn't give Crosby an angle to try and bolt through him. Right here, that's a tough target for 98 to go through with a really thick Salyer with his chest down. Now he's able to run them around the hump. Nice job here by the new starting tackle. All right, from the wide comp, he looks really good. Watch Salyer right there at left tackle. One-on-one on Crosby, no help, on an island. Can he get it done? Runs him upfield. Herbert can easily escape. He's able to find McConkey there for a score. Outstanding. Outstanding. Again, look at this patience here from Salyer. One of the things about playing tackle is not to overreact, right? Obviously, you're going up against some super freaky athletes, and Crosby is one of them. A lot of young tackles and a lot of new starters, they tend to overreact. They feel like they have to attack too early, or they get in a position where they allow the defensive end to dictate to them with an inside move, spin move, bull rush move, whatever it may be. But Salyer's so patient. He allows Crosby to enter in the speed rush move right here, and then he's more than happy to run him around the hump. You can see Crosby right here. He's like, I don't even know what to do. I wasn't even expecting that at all. Totally under control from the new starting left tackle. I tell you what, Chargers fans, you get this the rest of the season, you'll be more than fine at that position. All right, let's go back to some pass protection. There's Salyer right there at left tackle for the Chargers. And it's going to be man-on-man here across the board. We can see the Raiders, they got 5 down defensive linemen. So we're going to get the right tackle working out this direction, the right guard working out this direction. Those 2 guys right here are going to handle these 2. And it's going to be man-on-man here. We're going to get man-on-man here, and Salyer man-on-man against Kuntz, a young pass rusher that I really like. But the new Chargers tackle shuts him down. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. Protection is solid. Throws the out. First down. Nice third down conversion. All right, let's look at Salyer right here. Left tackle. Patient. He catches a little bit. You can see 51 actually strikes him first right there. But one of the things I love about Salyer is how low he plays, keeps his chest down, keeps a good base. He's always moving his feet, right? You can see right here, chop. Hands on the outside, is willing to use his leverage. He's not a long arm guy, so I think he wants to get face mask to face mask, right? He wants to get in just a wrestling match. Some of these tackles with the crazy long arms, they don't want to get face to face because that puts them at a disadvantage. They want to keep you guys at arm's length like a boxer with reach. Salyer is a guy who doesn't have a lot of reach. He wants to get in a wrestling match. That's exactly what he does here. I kind of wouldn't be surprised if he invites 51 to punch him first, because then he gets into this position and then he wins, gives Herbert the time he needs. First down, Chargers. All right, from the wide copy, you see Salyer right there in the middle of your screen. Handle 51, lock him down, no problem. Pass protection, guys. The Chargers can pass protect. Now, look, I understand it's the Raiders. Now, the Raiders do have some good edge rushers and good defensive linemen, but it still is the Raiders, right? Obviously not a team that's been lighting the world on fire this season. But Salyer plays the game in a way that can be replicated, right? He's not a guy that, is reliant on getting a perfect punch, or a guy who just happens to be lucky or plays with really bad fundamentals. Again, he's calm, cool, good base, good footwork, right? Like, even though his punch isn't fantastic, I think it's part of his mindset where he wants to get people in a wrestling match. So I think he's playing to his strength there. He's a smart, savvy player, and I think the way he played against the Raiders is how he can play the rest of the season. All right, how about some running game? And there's Salyer right there at left tackle. And it's going to be an outside run working this direction, obviously, to the right side of your screen, the offensive left. McConkey's going to get a little crackback block. They're going to have another receiver crackback block this way as well. And Salyer's going to pull around all the garbage and be the lead blocker for the young running back. Results in a touchdown for the Chargers. Let's check it out. There's a snap. There's a toss. There's the hole. There's the block. And there he goes. Makes 32 miss. And he's gone. Touchdown, Chargers. Really well done across the board. Running back, blocking, A+. You see receivers blocking downfield. Love to see it. You see McConkey throwing his helmet in there. Love to see that too. How about Salyer being an athlete, getting out in space, right? That's going to be a challenge because we know Alton Slater were good athletes. Can he do it? Yeah, just enough. Again, is it a pancake block? Is it a decleater? No, but he's just doing good athletic things. He's able to get out in space and lead this kind of play. Because the Chargers do so much downhill inside the box, running in between the tackles. If you at least have the ability from a tackle perspective like Salyer to get out on the edge and pull, it forces defenses to have guys that can flow over the top and maintain good leverage. Because you can see the Raiders, they're all downhill. 45-33, they're all downhill. They put themselves in a bad position, and now the running back's gone. It's one of those things, if you force defenders to play downhill all the time because you run right at them, and you're able to attack them outside because you have tackles who can pull, that makes your running game really hard to stop. Obviously, with the injuries, they weren't sure if they were going to have that the rest of the season. I think they will. As you can see here, Salyer is more than up to the task. All right, from the wide copy, get a good look at Salyer. Again, leading around the edge, gets the key block, opens up the hole, makes a man miss, and he's gone. Again, it's the most athletic play in the world from Salyer, right? Is he winning the 100-meter right there? No. He's no Alt, he's no Slater, but he's not supposed to be, right? Obviously, those guys are great tackles. Very expensive, high draft picks, right? Sawyer's a guy who's stepping up and finding a way to get it done because of the injuries. And this is good enough. This is getting it done. This is finding a way. When you hear the phrase next man up, it's not that the next man up, the replacement, is as good as the starter. It's can the backup execute the offense? You have to change your offensive game plan. And right now, with Salyer, the Chargers don't. They can do their inside runs, they can do their outside runs, they can do their standard pass game because he can block whether it's run game or pass game. He allowed the Chargers against the Raiders and should allow them the rest of the season to execute their standard offense. All right, let's go back to some more pass protection. There's Salyer, of course, at left tackle for the Chargers. And we're going to get a stunt from the Raiders, stunt from these two guys over here. So this defensive tackle, this wide 3 technique, which, by the way, is always a dead giveaway. If this 3 technique isn't tight on the guard and he gets wide like this, that's a red flag. And these two guys are probably like, hey, man, watch the stunt, watch the stunt. You can see a guy with that much width. It means a stunt is probably coming, and it does. So what this defensive tackle does is he goes up the field and then goes into Salyer. This defensive end goes up the field, and he loops around. The left tackle, Salyer, and the left guard handle it absolutely beautifully. Let's check it out. There's a snap. Herbert has time. Climbs in the pocket. Throws a short throw. Johnson battles his way in. Touchdown. Nicely done. All right, let's look at this protection, guys, all the way back to the beginning. All right, watch Salyer. He's one-on-one. He feels the stunt, picks him up, squares him up. See how he moves his feet? This is what I'm talking about, always moving your feet. Right now, he does lose his base here a little bit, even though he tries. He's a little higher than he normally is. But see how he's willing and able to move his feet? Because right here, this defensive tackle, if I back up just a smidge, right here, he's got a beeline to potentially work back to Herbert. But because 68 Salyer pounds his feet inside right there, he cuts off that inside path, allows Herbert to square away. See how now the defensive tackle is basically where a defensive end would be on the left side of Salyer, nowhere close to number 10. Allows Herbert to step up and deliver a strike. Little things, guys. Moving your feet. Being an athlete. That really matters. Now, is Salyer a Joe Alt Slater level guy? No, right? I've said that about 5,000 times. I'm sure you guys are tired of me saying it. But when you put on the film, it's more than good enough, just like we see here. Again, beautifully handling the stunt between him and 77. Nice job by the left side of the Chargers line. All right, from the wide copy, you can see it just beautifully handled. Steps up, delivers a strike, fights his way into the end zone. You can see Justin Herbert right here as he sets up in the pocket. Right here, he's like, okay, do I need to escape and run? He steps up to run, but then he squares away because he's like, whoa, now I've got a clean pocket. This is trust. Obviously, no, Herbert is banged up a little bit. They don't expect him to miss any time. That's the most recent reporting, obviously, with his hand. I don't think he will. Obviously, the Chargers preparing for their postseason push. But you can see here, great protection. Look at this pocket. They run Crosby upfield. They pick up the stunt. Herbert's able to reset himself and hit the drag over the middle for a touchdown. This is Chargers pass protection winning outright, and a big part of that is Salyer, of course, stepping up in a big way. All right, how about a little running game? And there's Salyer right there at left tackle, of course. It's going to be a standard inside zone concept up front when it comes to the offensive line. We're going to get a zone double team right here, working up to the next level. Zone double team right here, working up to the next level. base block right there by the right tackle, and it's going to be a zone read concept for the backs and receivers. So running back taking this track right here, and Herbert's going to at least act like he's reading the defensive end over here. The tight end's going to work out to the left immediately, and at 51, assuming this is a read, if he would have crashed down inside, Herbert would have kept it. Otherwise, by alignment, you can see how wide number 51 is. It almost makes it an automatic give read inside. That's what it ends up becoming. I want you guys to watch this double team, this movement at the point of attack. Again, Salyer, new to run blocking, not perfect at left tackle. Obviously, he's more of a guard traditionally, at least over the past couple seasons, but he does a good job on this play. Let's check it out. There's a snap. There's the handoff. North and south. Positive run. All right, let's break this down. Look at Salyer right here. Movement right here with the left guard. Driving off the football, getting up to the next level. That's good stuff, guys. This is what you want. Dislocating the defense. Finishing the play the entire time. I love that. Look how they reset this line of scrimmage. We'll look at it from the wide copy in a second, but you can see number 30, the running back, he doesn't get touched until he gets deep into the line of scrimmage, finds a little crease right there, and then finishes the run. This is good physical football. One of the problems when you shuffle your offensive line and obviously moving Salyer to left tackle is you don't know exactly how the run game is going to work out, right? Because obviously a lot of run game is timing between all the different pieces up front with these 5 guys. Salyer obviously played a lot of guard. He played tackle a few years ago. He knows what it takes, but it's still new. It still takes some timing. And like we see here, it's not perfect. You can see Salyer right there. He kind of gets right behind number 77. It becomes kind of a weird situation, but it ends up working out okay. They dent the defense, get movement, and turn it into a positive run here. All right, from the wide copy, you can see right here, double team action, movement, running back falls forward for a nice run. Let's look at the movement, guys. Where was the ball snapped? Right around, what, the 36-yard line of the Raiders? Where's the defensive lineman get moved back to? All the way back to the 32, so we're talking 3-4 yards of movement, and they get a hat on the backside linebacker right here. Hey, that's nicely done. That's a good job. That's winning football, right? Good, again, right there, they're right behind each other. You'd rather be hip to hip, so it's not the perfect position, but the effort is there, right? The physicality is there. It's good assignment football. They'll clean up the timing, right? They'll get the relationship between each other correct with more reps. I think that'll be cleaned up as they play more together, but the result is good. The physicality is good. The effort is there, and the running game, of course, was there for the Chargers in a big way against the Raiders. Nice job here across the board. All right, sticking with some pass protection, there's Salyer, of course, at left tackle, and he's going to be matched up against the Raiders defensive end here, one-on-one, who's just going to try and beat him with the standard speed rush. No problem for number 68. Does his job absolutely perfectly. Let's check it out. There's a snap. Herbert has time. Quick throw. Nicely done. All right, let's look at Salyer right here, one-on-one on this defensive end. Locks him down. Again, see how he misses with his hands there? I kind of wonder if that's by intent, right, to make it a wrestling match. You can see how tight this defensive end is, too. Salyer right there only takes a mini kick step. You'll notice earlier in the film review he took much longer steps. See how that's just a quick little step? And then he recalibrates himself, maintains a good relationship. Because the temptation is if you just keep your footwork the same regardless of whether the defensive end's alignment, if you do a wide kick step, you'll open up the inside move and he can beat you. But right here, 68, right off the rip, quick little step, maintains a good relationship, forces number 9 for the Raiders out wide, and then he just anchors down and just handles him. Great pass protection, just good job. This is what Salyer was doing all game long, guys. He had a really outstanding day. It was a big question mark coming into this big-time division matchup. I think that question has been answered, not just for last Sunday, of course, but for the rest of the year. All right, for the wide copy, get a really good look at Salyer right there. Just lock him down. Quick throw. Nicely done. Now, this is a pretty bad rep from this Raiders defensive end. I'm not exactly sure what he's trying to do, right? He aligns so tight to begin with and then just runs outside. But you can see here, right off the rip, it almost looks like Salyer's going to overset, but then he calms down. Look at that base. Look at that position. Right foot, lead foot up. He's got his back, left foot back. Strong base, pad level down. Again, his hand isn't perfect, but he maintains his base the entire time. It's one of those things where he's not a long arm tackle, so he's got to play a little bit differently. So I understand why his punch isn't, ideal. But overall, he just locks down these edge rushers with great footwork, and I think that's why the Chargers finally moved him to the outside. Well, even because he's not the prototypical tackle in terms of his measurables, the way he moves his feet is more than good enough for the Chargers to thrive. All right, let's end on another big win from Salyer, and there he is, of course, at left tackle. And you can see the Raiders, right? They got a bunch of guys walked up on the left side of the line of scrimmage right here, and they're trying to create one-on-one matchups, right? They're trying to make sure that this left guard's one-on-one, the center's going to account for him, right guard's going to account for him, right tackle's got to deal with Crosby, which means there are other really good pass rusher, number 51, Malcolm Kuntz. He's going to be one-on-one right here on Salyer. They like that matchup. They were wrong to like it because number 68, again, stepped up in a big way, like we're going to see here, locking down number 51 for Las Vegas. Let's check it out. A pre-snap motion. There's a snap. Has time. Steps up into the pocket. Ends up getting hit. Don't love that necessarily. But he had good protection. All right, let's look at Salyer right here at left tackle. Again, patient, patient, patient. See how 51 tries to knock his hands down, and right there Salyer knocks his hands down too? Really nicely done. Again, he never goes for the punch to the body, right? A lot of tackles like to strike to the body. You can see this at right tackle. So let's go over here and look at 79. See how right there he's trying to strike Crosby's body with his right arm right there? Or actually with both arms. Strike his body, right? That's what 79 is trying to do. Not a bad rep at all. Salyer doesn't play that way because he has shorter arms. He's going to change up his approach. And right here, that's exactly what he does. He wants to get in a wrestling match. Kuntz doesn't want to. He wants to keep him wide. So right here, 51 tries to knock down his arms. Salyer corrects, knocks his arms down, and now maintains his footwork, runs him around. Great pass protection by 68. All right, for the wide copy, you can see Salyer right there. There's a motion pre-snap. There's a snap. Only rushes 3 all day. Steps up into the pocket, just trying to get what he can. Again, I don't love this. Let's avoid the hits, please, Justin Herbert. Good Lord, now that you're beat up, for sure. But when you look at Salyer, again, patient, calm, cool, moves his feet. Everything you want in a left tackle. He's doing some good things in the run game. Far from perfect, of course. Obviously playing tackle versus playing guard in the run game, night and day. I think that's going to take a few games to get things completely figured out. But in terms of pass protection, he was outstanding for the Chargers against the Raiders. Not just the way he performed, but the style in which he did it, right? It's all very sustainable. Like we see here, good footwork, good base, good timing, good rhythm. Not playing out of rhythm, not playing out of concentration, just doing the fundamentals, doing the little things right. 68 stepped up in a big way, and I think the Chargers finally have their answer at left tackle.